Today's video has been sponsored by EveryPlate. Now, some of you may have read the title and seen the thumbnail of this video and thought to yourself, I didn't know I teleported back to 2016, where we were obsessed with making foods out of artificially colored cereals. And I would agree with you. I think a lot of this stuff is very outdated, but the only thing I have to say for myself is I'm whipped.
You have the cheesecake Fruity Pebbles, you have the chicken with the Captain Crunch, and then you have third one with Cocoa Krispies or some shit in the back.
But I agree it's eye-catching, but I don't want to eat a cheesecake.
I will eat it.
This man has been sending me this wretched looking cheesecake every day for weeks, and I guess you know it's bad because I finally caved, and I'm finally making it for him, but if you think I'm eating it, you're bugging. In addition to the sleaze cake, we will also be testing some Captain Crunch chicken tenders, Lucky Charms ice cream bread, and the one I'm most excited for, the Cinnamon Toast Crunch French Toast Bites. I cannot wait to read all the judgments that will be taking over today's comment section, but let's get right into this one. I'm just trying to see the bright side of this one, and that I'm only inundating my insides with red 40, blue 7, the other colors that there are, rather than the usual suspects, the greasy, cheesy, fatty foods of the world. So it is a great thing that we've got some wholesome, delicious foods to offset some of this stuff, thanks to my friends over at EveryPlate. EveryPlate is unquestionably the best, most convenient, and cost-effective meal kit around. I'm sure most of you can relate that recently, grocery shopping has felt more expensive than ever before. And at an average of 25% cheaper than grocery shopping, EveryPlate is the perfect alternative for your weekday family meals. With EveryPlate, you receive pre-portioned, quality ingredients to help save you time, money, and prevent food waste. And if you've got a busy schedule, there's no better way to set yourself up for success because EveryPlate is the ultimate time and money saving hack. And if you're worried about getting bored with the same old meal kit options week after week, I've got great news for you. Choose between 26 tasty and affordable recipes that change every single week. You can even customize each one of those meals to your liking and swap out protein or veggies. So I cannot urge you guys enough to give EveryPlate a try for yourself, and when you click that link in the top line of the description and use my code DavidSeymour149, you will get your first box of EveryPlate for just $1.49 per meal. And thanks so much to EveryPlate for supporting the channel. But back to business. We're gonna be starting off today with possibly the greatest recipe I've ever seen in my life. It is the Cinnamon Toast Crunch French Toast Bites. I collected Cinnamon Toast Crunch and cinnamon, some heavy cream and Hawaiian sweet rolls, granulated sugar, unsalted butter, an egg, and vanilla extract. Firstly, if my pure excitement for these things isn't already oozing through the screen, let me just say that although I do love a lot of cereals, Cinnamon Toast Crunch probably takes the top spot for me. It's just so good, it's so sweet and crunchy and satisfying. It's the one I ate the most as a kid. It's probably why I had a couple extra pounds packed on me when I was in 5th grade. And when I saw this combination, I knew it had to be a part of this video because it's so genius using the sweet rolls. As we know, you want to use an enriched bread for the best French toast, a challah, a brioche, something of that nature, so these should work perfectly. I do see the irony in using a breakfast food to make a more involved breakfast food, and I was a touch bummed when I realized that this was more of an ad by the King Hawaiian brand. It's not like some viral video from a TikTok creator, it was kind of a promoted thing, but I don't even care. I can ignore all of that because these things look so damn good. So once my cinnamon sugar cereal finishing mixture was prepared, my custard was whipped up, I dipped all my little toasted bread bits in that, cooked them over medium heat in lots of butter for a couple minutes, and these are looking fantastic. The only technical part about this is how long you're dipping them in that custard mix. They're so soft and small. You don't want more than a few seconds on each side. You want them to hold their shape, and you don't want them too soggy, but I think with the majority of these, I nailed them. All that's left to do now is plate them up with your favorite maple syrup, and then give them a taste. Hello again. If I'm looking a little tired and disheveled, that is because it is nearly 3 o'clock in the morning, and I just got to editing this part of the video and realized the mic was off again. I don't know what the hell's going on, if it's me or this mic. It's the second time in 3 weeks, but once again, I will talk you through my taste test and what I thought. So right here, I was saying how good they looked and how much of a sweet tooth you're probably gonna need to enjoy these things. And upon tasting them, yeah, unbelievably sweet, but so delicious. These Hawaiian rolls really need to get more respect for how versatile and good they are in applications like this. They're not just a roll to eat on the side of your chicken dinner. They were so soft and sweet, and I loved how they were just a little handheld two-biter. They took me right back to another favorite breakfast of my childhood, those little quartered cinnamon waffles from Eggo. And that was it. I ate about 10 of them. I would highly recommend, and screw this microphone. Next up today, we've got one that's just as eye-catching as the first recipe, if not even more so in my opinion. And it is the Lucky Charms ice cream bread. I grabbed some Lucky Charms, ice cream, and self-rising flour. Again, even as much as I've been ragging on some of these cereals and their artificialness, this is another one that I love, and it has such a good history on the channel. They were the focus of the second ever food test I've ever done here on the channel. That was, of course, the Lucky Charms ice cream cake back in September of 2015. Kill me now. The fact that that was nearly 8 years ago makes me want to throw up. It was back when I still didn't know how to focus a camera properly. Of course, you might remember back when I remade Claire's homemade Lucky Charms. That was certainly an experience. And even back in 2017, when they were running a competition with some of the boxes that had a winning code to win a box of purely just the marshmallows without the cereal part. If you missed it, spoiler, I did not win, but somehow Lucky Charms saw that video, sent me a box of them anyway, and they've been behind me ever since. I never opened this for whatever reason. It would actually be pretty useful since we're only using the marshmallows for the bread, but unfortunately it expired in 2018, so I think we're better off just picking them out of the fresh boxes myself and plopping them on the bread. But once our bread was baked off for about 45 minutes, I pulled it out and the marshmallows got a touch dark, but it's got a nice crumb throughout the center, so let's give it a try. When I pulled this out of the oven, I let this cool for about 40 minutes, I want to say. I didn't really want to cut into steaming hot bread. But something has happened. I think the steam kind of rehydrated the marshmallows and they've gotten a little funky. It still looks pretty cool and the crumb is what you would expect a white bread to be, but the marshmallows don't look quite as good as I was hoping or as they did in the video. It's pretty good. I've made many ice cream breads in the past and I'm always impressed with how good they come out. But you gotta kinda expect the texture to be closer to a banana bread. It's a little drier, a little bit more dense than a cake. It's somewhere in the middle of a cake and a bread. It doesn't really have any chew or bite, but it's not soft enough to be a cake, so it's still really good and very tasty, but are the marshmallows necessary? Debatable. And third today on our cereal circuit, another Steven request, it is the Captain Crunch chicken tenders. I gathered together some Captain Crunch and garlic and onion powder, Wondra flour and buttermilk, panko breadcrumbs, chicken breasts, an egg, and salt and pepper. Simple enough, but once again, we're still not dealing with anything too crazy. It's just a pretty basic chicken tender, but with a cereal twist. And these guys are supposedly from Planet Hollywood, originally, which is another restaurant chain. Unfortunately, I've never been there, but shout out to anybody who likes that. I do love that once everything gets cut up into strips, it's gonna get dunked down in a buttermilk bath for at least a couple hours. I'm actually opting to go overnight since I started this video the day before. And as much as I love the flavors that buttermilk imparts, I often don't love the texture. Sometimes it's just so thick, it's like one step shy of a yogurt. You could barely pour the shit, and then once you have to dip the chicken back in and mix it with an egg, I don't know, sometimes it kind of puts me off of the idea. That just reminded me, I recently saw a TikTok questioning who first dipped chicken in the eggs that they produce and how that's a little sadistic, and I kind of agree. I never thought of that before. But it is the base for all of our delicious chicken cutlet based foods, so I will choose to overlook it for now. The breading station for this is actually pretty interesting too. The dry ingredients are going to consist of obviously the crushed up cereal, but in addition to the fine all-purpose flour, some of the panko breadcrumbs, and then your seasonings. And it's not very often that you see both the flour and the breadcrumbs mixed together, so I'm going to be interested to see the outcome of this. And then they just get dunked down in 350-degree vegetable oil for 6 to 7 minutes until they are nicely, evenly golden brown. As far as I understand, these are usually served with honey mustard. That's what they recommend in the article, but I'll take the liberty to pair them with some sriracha mayo. I've been obsessed with this stuff recently. And yeah, that is our third cereal concoction complete. Damn. People who only order chicken tenders regardless of what kind of restaurant they're at, this one is for you. That is good stuff. When I think of the perfect chicken tender, this is kind of what I imagine. It is maximum crunch, salt, a little sweet, super tender and juicy. I don't know what is in buttermilk that causes chicken to be so soft, but it's literally like biting through nothing. As good as they are, I will admit, I don't think I'd guess that they were supposed to be Captain Crunch. You do get a little sweetness, but I would just assume it was from some kind of sugar or some other form of sweetness. The fact that they're supposed to be cereal-based kind of gets lost, but they're still so damn good. This is what we deserved in our school cafeterias. And lastly today, the ultimate testament as to how much of a pushover I am. It is the Fruity Pebbles cheesecake, and I grabbed some Fruity Pebbles and sugar, heavy cream, marshmallows, the bane of my existence, and vanilla extract, butter, and a lemon. Now, unfortunately for Steven, the video he's been sending me was only a promotion for the restaurant that was actually selling that. There was no recipe attached to it. So I took the liberty to find a cereal cheesecake myself, and what do you know? Tasty made one a couple years back. So obviously we're replicating that one instead, and to my relief, there is quite a few redeemable parts of this version. Firstly, a huge percentage of the mass of this thing is going to be a Rice Krispie style marshmallow treat at the bottom. It's not just like a thin crust either, it's gonna be about 30% of its total height. And this isn't a traditional cheesecake where it's 95% cream cheese that's baked. On the contrary, this isn't seeing any heat at all because this is equal parts of cream cheese with whipped heavy cream. Would this even still be considered a cheesecake at that point? I don't know. I guess that's up to you. This was made back in the era when Tasty gave no shits about anything. By the looks of the video, this should firm up quite a bit while it sits in the fridge, but it's not gonna be nearly as dense as a typical cheesecake. But I got the devil cream, heavy cream, vanilla extract, and sugar whipped up and plopped down into my round springform pan. I let that sit in the fridge overnight. I'm not gonna go into any more detail as to how I'm feeling about this. I'm sure you guys already know, but let's just bring in the man himself, the reason this video even happened at all. And look who it is. Look at this mess. That's all you, buddy. So you weren't here, but I've been telling them how you often peer pressure me. I thought he was gonna fight that, he just agreed.
I would say more persuasive. All right, this is a Fruity Pebble cheesecake.
That's right. Well, use cheesecake loosely.
First of all, Fruity Pebbles is a top tier cereal.
Can't argue with that.
Definitely tastes like cheesecake, and it's pretty much a Fruity Pebbles. I guess the bottom is a Fruity Pebbles, like a marshmallow treat.
Was it everything you imagined when you were harassing me on Instagram with the video?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a dessert guy.
Why did you want me to make it so bad?
Because I like Fruity Pebbles. I don't know, I've had better. Next. Try it, try it, try it.
They'd be pissed if I didn't. For those of you who know what a standard cheesecake looks like, you could probably tell how much softer this one is, even after all those hours in the fridge.
It's decent.
I'm not exaggerating. In my brain and my frame of reference, it parallels vomit with the lactic acidity that cream cheese imparts, and I can't stand it.
I hear you. I don't agree, but I hear you. I thought I was gonna love it, and I like it. So for me, it's slightly disappointing because I thought I would be like, oh my god, this is so good.
Anyway,
You're hurt.
are you satisfied?
Yeah.
All right, get this over with.
With the M without the AD. Flipping burgers and my money super lazy. Try and make a meal tonight, they ain't paying me. Try and supersize my life with my A-team. Yeah, our style wasn't wavy, but we had a vision.
I'm only eating this because I don't want to be harangued in the comments.
Harangued? That's a real word?
I know it from Iron Man.
Oh, well, I wouldn't know.
There's another one you also send my way more than once. Watch you like this more than...
That's really good.
How do you have a better reaction for a chicken finger?
The issue I have with chicken fingers is
White people order them at Asian restaurants.
that is the one issue I have, where it's like your friend with no palate whatsoever will order that every single time you go out to eat. The second issue I have is when I do have chicken fingers, they're bland. There's no flavor in the coating.
Not with these.
Not only does this have really good flavor, but it also has the crunch given to us by the captain.
I'm dead.
I will eat it. I'll pretend to be how you mean. I'll like you do.